Welcome into the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show, and do we have a great show for you guys tonight talking about MegaETH and MegaETH. This series this week is going to be a lot about chains that you probably don't know a lot about. Maybe you've heard about them, maybe you haven't. So welcome into the channel. As you know, we always start with the crypto bubbles. There I am. Make sure we get lined up in the camera like we're supposed to be. All right, how's everybody doing on a Monday? How are you feeling? Yes, I think we took a little bit of a dip for BTC, did we not? Went for a little bit of a ride. Let's come over here and look at the crypto bubbles. 1 through 100, Lab is up 57%. Shout out to Reliable J. I know he's happy about that one. And if you go back, I have a short that I did about Lab. Oh man, it must have been 2 months ago, maybe more, maybe 3 months ago. It has to be longer than that. I'll have to go look at it. If you come to the members only stream, I'll go back and I will look at when we actually went over Lab, because that was a great project to get in early on. And there's somebody in the community who I was talking to about Lab all the way back then. I sure hope he got a piece of it. But other coins did pump as well. WorldCoin up 21.5%. Humanity up 39.6%. Siren up 16.5%. Near Protocol up 11.7%. Jupiter up 5.3% to, looks like 20 cents. And let's look at Meme Core. I didn't mean to click on Siren. Meme Core back to, $3.25. I said that I had a feeling this project was going to run back within some time here. And it's been some time. It's probably been, I don't know, a month. Let's go get the weekly and the monthly. Yeah, so definitely well within a month. Let's see, $3.58, $3.91. When was that? Like May 8th? Or wait, get back there. May 7th. And then you had another high May 19th, and who knows, this thing might dig its way out of here. Interesting. All right, let's toggle down the top 1,000 here and take a look. Our best performing category here is 2 to 300. Still plenty of negative on the day, for sure. Let's drop down to 100 to 200, which seems pretty flat as a category overall. Those are all averaged all together. And of course, shout out to all my people who are here tonight. I saw somebody, Lifetree, bought a membership. Love to see that. Shout out Digital Revolution, Chris Goss, The Funky Ferret, Melissa. We're definitely missing a few people, but hopefully they show up here soon. Where's Camston, Blues Guy, and all of our regular people? 007, 00 Zo. I'm sure people will show up here shortly. So Chili's, 8.6%. Jitto up 8. Piverse. I don't know what's up with this Piverse. I mean, we've deep dived Piverse. I know what it is. TimeFi, if you will. It's very much about time stamping things on blockchain for basically your taxes and your paperwork and stuff. Kind of like having a digital receipt for something on the blockchain to prove that it happened, you know. Can definitely see the use case from a lot of people's standpoints. Jimmy Villain in the house says, evening, my bro. Back to you, man. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are, but not yet. We're not tuning off, so not that kind of good night, but GN, and GM, depending on where you live. Welcome in, Jimmy. Always love to see your name pop up in the chat. Yeah, so I just mentioned in Piverse, it always seems to come back swinging, which is kind of crazy to me, I'll be honest. Market cap 240 million. It's like time stamping on chain. I could see crypto companies and all kinds of people using it, to be honest with you. The use case makes a lot of sense. Just wasn't really sure how much demand there was for it. But when I think about doing my own crypto taxes, or just taxes in general that have anything to do with crypto, I start to really understand why Piverse is a relevant project. Home, we've talked about in the base ecosystem. We did an entire week of base ecosystem stuff. We're moving on. This is not going to be an entire week of MegaETH or MegaETH, but we're going to go over chains that you probably haven't heard about. This week is going to be a very high level crypto IQ raising shows, right? It's going to be a bunch of high IQ raising shows. Not that they're not normally, but we're packing it on extra here. Sky AI up 14.6%. Billions Network up 10.4%. Let's drop down. We usually don't go lower than 2 to 300s. ARDR. Ardor. I believe I've gone over this before. Man, it pumps so hard. 92% it's up today. It's just pretty incredible. From like 3 cents, like 3.5 cents to 7, close to 7.5 cents. This thing pumped hard. I don't know enough about it, but man, it did the thing, didn't it? It sure did. And we're just kicking off here. If you're just rolling in, smash that like button for me. Always double check when you come to a show. Often it's easy to forget to smash that like button. And of course, drop something in the chat so I know you're here. The regulars certainly know. SLX or Solstice. Yeah, Solstice. That's what it is. There's so many projects that are really similar to this wording here. It's up 85%. It bounced from about 18 cents all the way to 48 cents. Wow. Well done. Riff, of course, have been on rootstock infrastructure framework. We've gone over this once or twice. Up 23.8%. Ordi up 12%. Derive, which is a decentralized exchange, up 16.4%. Quantum resistant ledger, not layer, but ledger is up 8.1%. Useless 11.8. Kita up 10.7. Yes, I'm doing that all off of memory of the tickers. It takes a little while to get to that point. Now, before we go too far, I don't want to bury it too deep. I want to tell you guys a little story, crypto-related story. And we started doing this because the talking point seemed a little bit, too high IQ sometimes for people. So I wanted to have kind of a story-orientated way of giving it to you before we actually get into it. So really set the mood and really get you in the zone for understanding where we're going. And we're going to be deep diving, you guessed it, MegaETH and MegaETH quite a bit tonight. So crypto has always promised bigger than speculation. It's promised open finance, digital ownership, global payments, on-chain games, decentralized social networks, new internet economies. But there is one issue that keeps showing up underneath all of these ideas. The user experience still has to work. And we got way ahead of this in speculation, right? We got way ahead of where we were at as far as the user experience for such a new technology, right? It was a little clunky. You had to remember seed phrases and you had to do a lot just to be able to operate in the space. And for a lot of people, it was a huge turnoff. We know that. And for many use cases, that means it has to feel fast. Traders do not want to wait around while the market moves to get in and out. The gamer doesn't want to think about block times during gameplay, and social apps users do not want to feel like every transaction is a financial transaction, which is kind of what's held SocialFi back a lot. A normal person does not want to understand gas, execution, settlement, finality, or mempools. Did anybody remember what a mempool is, right? They just want the app to work. That is why speed matters, not because high TPS, throughput per second, makes a better marketing headline. Speed matters because it changes what developers can actually build. If transactions are slow or expensive, developers have to design around those limits, and there is going to be limits. They avoid certain types of apps, they limit users' actions, and they move activity off-chain. These simplify experiences that could be a lot richer and deeper, but if blockchain becomes fast enough, cheap enough, responsive enough, that design space changes. Suddenly, on-chain gaming begins to feel a lot more realistic, order book trading becomes more practical, social interactions become more possible, microtransactions become less ridiculous. That is the race MegaETH and MegaETH are entering. So right here, we're setting up and showing you that MegaETH and MegaETH are very much after the same thing. They are competing. They are not just saying, we want more transactions. They are asking, what would crypto look like if Ethereum virtual machine felt much faster? And that is an important question because Ethereum-style apps already have massive developer mindshare. If you understand mindshare metric, you see this a lot on like cookie.dao and a lot of your AI agents, right? But if you understand what mindshare is, the Ethereum virtual machine has toolings, wallets, smart contracts, existing developers, and a huge ecosystem. That's why Ethereum is kind of the #1 place for development inside the realm of blockchain technology. So instead of asking developers to leave everything behind, projects like MegaETH and MegaETH are trying to preserve Ethereum virtual machine compatibility while dramatically improving performance. But they approach the goals differently. And this is the type of competitive evolution that we want to see in the space. We want to see people come at a problem from multiple angles, and who knows, the next generation of them, of those projects or other projects, could be combinations of things that worked well and deleting and getting rid of things that didn't work well from this whole experiment. At the end of the day, it is one giant DeFi experiment. So MegaETH is a layer 1. It is trying to build high-performance EVM-compatible blockchain from the ground up. MegaETH is a layer 2, right? So they're competing in ideal, but they're going about how they're doing it completely different. I hope that is completely clear. And I want to say this again. MegaETH is a layer 1. MegaETH is a layer 2. As it has ETH in its name, that should be somewhat easy to remember, right? It is trying to bring real-time execution to Ethereum while still settling on Ethereum. That distinction matters because it shows two different philosophies. One says, let's build a faster EVM chain altogether. And the other one says, let's make Ethereum real time through layer 2 scaling, which we just spent a week basically talking about Base, which is a layer 2. And layer 2s were born out of scaling, right? Camp's in the house says, is BTC falling? Will 70,800 hold the line? Well, we will certainly get there shortly. Both are trying to answer the same deeper question here. Can crypto become fast enough for the next generation of applications? And we are digging into MegaETH and MegaETH. But we do have our normal show here to do. So let's do a price rundown real quick. Let me refresh it, make sure we have the latest. Let me hit that coffee. Cheers to everybody out there who needs coffee at 8:30 at night because they've been up since 7 a.m. All right, Bitcoin 71,000, pretty much flat, 71,086 if you will. Ethereum just dipping under $2,000. I hate to see that. I hope we don't monumentally go lower than that for Ethereum, although I wouldn't mind scooping some more. $1,995. BNB $690. XRP $1.29. Solana $80.88. Hyperliquid $74.61. Dogecoin like 10 cents flat. And look at Hyperliquid, man. Hyperliquid has just continued to crush it. There are certain things that are just moving regardless of what BTC is doing. In the past, markets, I really feel like Hyperliquid would have really dipped hard, but there's some strength there that's unusual a little bit. Now, if we continue to dump for months, Hyperliquid's probably going to follow suit. Greenfinger says, sup fellow wingsuiters. Yes, I hope you are riding that short to the downside. Zcash $544, down 16.7%. Cardano basically 23 cents. XLM 23 cents, and it's up 60% and holding some gains. So I like to see that it's holding those gains. Also, Rain is up 67.7%. Rain is prediction markets for anybody who didn't know that. XMR $341.91. Canton Network 15.5 cents. Toncoin in the equation now in the top 30. And it's up to $2.06, up 5.9%. Lab is one to talk about for sure. $16.59, up 283% in the last 7 days. That is your clear winner there, is Lab. Meme Core, $3.24. We touched on this a minute ago. It is up 9.5%, call it 10%. HBAR 9 cents, Avalanche $8.87. Avalanche Avalanche never seems to really do that great, but it is in the top 50. You know, it's number 31 by market cap. SWE dipping down a little bit more, 87 cents. Would love to scoop some more of that as it dips lower. Let's see where the heck Flare is. Ooh, Flare fell to number 92 by market cap over the weekend, so it took a little bit of a dive. Just means you keep loading up. If you really believe in a project, that doesn't really scare you too much. It's still in the top 100. How upset could you be there? They're gonna fluctuate, right? Let's see. We have the Allo currency is pumping, he says. Nice. I'm trying to figure out Havsha? Is that how you say your name? Hopefully I'm saying it right. I can be terrible with names. I will be the first to admit that. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Allo, yes. Let's see. Is Allo on our... Okay, no, it's not. I'm surprised that that's not on our radar. We talked about Allo before. I'll hop to it real quick since you brought it up. And it is chain abstraction. Allo is the ticker. Allura is the name. Let's see. Let's go to the 24 hours. Let's see what's going on here. It's down 37.4% in the last 24 hours. So I'm not sure what you mean by pumping, but it has been pumping. Don't get me wrong. If you go to like the last 7 days, it's up 109%. I wouldn't have necessarily picked it to move right now. I'm not sure what's got it going right now, but that's just how the markets go. And let's see. Went from about 9 cents all the way to 28 cents. Maybe say almost 29 cents. So really nice pump there. It's got 40.6 million in market cap, a billion max supply. Circulating supply is only 230.2, so 230 million in circulating supply. And you would be taking, right, this $40 million. Well, you'd be taking the circulating supply, 230 million, dividing that by 40.6 million, and that would give you the price per unit, per coin, per asset, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. The math is the same. Ethereum base and BNB smart chain contracts. And of course, it's AI base native. That's why we talked about it last week and things. Also, it was trending, but it's also chain abstraction if you go to the website. I just want to touch on it because somebody brought it up and we have been talking about it. So the abstraction layer for intelligence. Allura is a self-improving decentralized AI network that harnesses community-built machine learning models for highly accurate context-aware predictions. So it's about predictions, but this might not be predictions like you think, like prediction market. This is probably more like predicting how to solve a problem, right? The Internet of Intelligence powered by a network of machine learning nodes. Allura solves for siloed machine intelligence. A lot of the machine intelligence has been hosted up by big companies and therefore kind of siloed or isolated is a better way to think of it. And therefore, they're trying to unisolate it, connect it all together so that it can be really put to work and put to use for everybody. He says, thank you. Says, my name is Ardeshir. Again, I'm terrible with names. I apologize. Ardeshir. Ardeshire? I'm probably doing a terrible name of that, and I apologize. That's why I kind of give everybody a nickname. It says, I'm Iranian. Thank you. Absolutely. Welcome in. Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. I assume you've probably been here before, but I could be wrong. If it's your first time here, smash that like button, and man, do I have a treat for you if you've never seen the show before, because we do something very different from what most crypto shows or YouTubes are doing. Totally different approach. I haven't seen anybody with a show like us. All right, I'm done gloating. All right, so let's talk about what is trending today. Of course, Lab. Do we need to talk about Lab? Is anybody confused on what Lab is? I don't know. Are you? Put a 111 in the chat if you don't know what Lab is and you need me to go over it. EdgeX. EdgeX is 74 cents, and it it looks like it just crashed here. It did, 42.5%. So it's trending, but that doesn't, just because something's trending doesn't always mean it's trending for a good reason. Sometimes they're down. Cam still wants to know if you're currently living in Iran. So Hyperliquid, Pudgy Penguins, Bitcoin, Near Protocol, Stellar, which has also been crushing it, WorldCoin, Kinetic Q, Kintic Q. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. It's kind of wild. 91%. For one of my weaknesses is just like trying to read things I've never said before. And in crypto, we get some of the craziest names, like whatever this is. Kintic Q. BVB, Venice token. Man, if we take a hard dip, I'd love to pick up some Venice token under $10. I think that would be amazing. Ondo, Solstice, Chainlink, Collector Crypt Cards is the ticker, and Solana. This project I get really sketched out by, but they do really well. They do well, and there's another project that does the same thing. If you don't know what this is, it's basically like cards and comic books and stuff like that. They create, a real world asset, a digital version of it where it can be traded all over the place. And then they, as a company, hold on to it. Kind of sketchy if you ask me, but like what happens if that company goes bankrupt, right? Anyways, Fear and Greed Index is at 23 today. We'll make sure we refresh that, make sure that is correct. Pretty sure I already did. Yep, 23. Yesterday was 29, 34, 47. You notice a trend? We're going down. We're going backwards here from where we should be headed up, and you can see it in the bar graph down here. Cam still with the interesting questions. He says, yes, I live in Iran. Well, there is, of course, a lot of Iran in the news. Who knows what's actually going on there right now? I believe I saw the president of Iran step down. I believe they said, and I'm just like, I'm here in America, so I'm going off of the news, of course. Because, I don't know, the IRGC basically is not involving the government in any of the discussions. They pretty much taking control, which I was under the impression they were already in control, but who knows? It's hard to know exactly what's real and not real. So the altcoin index is at 49, so like right in the middle. To me, that does see, you might feel like this is moving towards altcoin season. I would say this is just kind of indecisiveness. It's neither Bitcoin season or altcoin season, right? Yeah, he says, interesting times living in Iran. I heard the economy is not holding up to the blockade so well. Yeah, and of course we hear a lot of things on the news. Who knows exactly what's going on? At least that's what they want us to think. Yeah, there you go, Camsta. There you go. All right, let's keep it not for the chat. For me, I'm gonna keep it crypto as best I can. You guys talk about whatever you want in the chat, with some discretion. All right, so let's take a look at what's trending over here on Crypto Rank. Sorry, not CoinGecko, Crypto Rank. And let's make it the top 20 and not the top 10. We have Atleta Network, which I've looked at quite a bit. It's only been around for 0.8 years. We're going to read through them, then we'll start going over them. Humanity Protocol has been around 0.9 years, still a very new project. I remember when Humanity came out. Of course, Lab's only been around 0.6 of a year. WonderFi is new, no token generation event yet. Iren, no token generation event, right? Unitas Lab, 0.2 years, so still very new project. Pheasant Network, which I think is hilarious. I feel like I've seen this before, but maybe they never had a token. Maybe they're just now finally getting around to getting serious about that. Superior Trade, I can only imagine what that is. Probably a decentralized exchange. DeFi.app or Home, 1 year old. This Binance, I believe this is the one that the lifer got into, that like Binance's life one. Space Market, Interesting. Kinesis Silver, right? That's not really surprising. Stargate Finance, Hyperliquid, CoinX Token, Helium, Piverse, Hive, Raved Out, Aerodrome. So some we know, some we don't. Let's start right at the top. We don't need to go over some of them, like Aerodrome. We don't need to go over Aerodrome. You should know what that is. Yeah, just reading the chat. We're caught up on the chat. Atleta Network is a modular. What does modular mean? Have you raised your crypto IQ? If not, you're in the right place. Multi-layer, and that's kind of what modular implies, multi-layer blockchain. Network modernizing the sport industry. So this is very sport industry directed. I mean, could do really well, I guess, in the eyes of prediction markets and stuff. I don't know how they fall into that. It's very interesting. 163.5 million in market cap, been as high as 247. Only 1.2 million in 24-hour trading volume, so that's not phenomenal. I do love the way the tokenomics are set up on CoinGecko. Not so much CryptoRank, but CryptoRank has a lot of other things that I like a lot, like, for example, how much money had been raised, stuff like that. Team, you don't really get the team as much with CryptoRank or with CoinGecko. You can get it on Mexi and Bitmart if you're interested here. And I say that because, I mean, you can kind of see, it looks like it's building a little bit of a falling wedge here. Nice pump, falling wedge. You could say Fibonacci retracement if you want. Let's see, what have you made it to? The 0.5. You bounced off the 0.5 so far. You're chilling at the 0.382. I would say the stronger the project, the less it goes down and dips before rushing back up and breaking those top candles there. All right, let's back up because I could spend a lot of time on stuff like this, and I don't want to get too off in the weeds because we have a lot to go over. I apologize. Sometimes CryptoRank is really slow, and it's not my internet and stuff. It's always CryptoRank. Other websites work just fine. Humanity Protocol, again, 0.9 of a year old, which is a weird way to say it. They could just tell you how many months old it was, but you get the idea. Ticker is H, Humanity Protocol, 70 cents, 1.2 billion in market cap, been as high as 1.5, so it's really not all that far away. And I mean, look at that chart. That is wild. Looks like June 25th of 2025. Yeah, that thing has pumped so hard just recently too. And why is it pumping so hard? That I don't have an answer to. Humanity Protocol is a network aimed at providing Sybil resistant blockchain resistant blockchain solutions to authenticate the first billion users on the web. So they're all about, the name is humanity, proving humanity. I don't exactly how they go about it. I would love to see some zero knowledge kind of technology behind it. Now let's look at a completely new token that probably nobody has ever heard of, WonderFi. And there's no token, this is just a project, but they're raising money. There will probably be a token. Greenfinger says, XLM. Crypto Billy in the house. What's up, Crypto Billy? Salute to you. Thanks for being here. XLM dropping like it's hot. Yep, I think a lot of things will probably start dropping like it's hot if BTC doesn't recover. Kind of late to start a short now, though. It could, yeah, I don't know. It says, I don't know, Green. I wish the coins I'm in would pump like that. What the F? Yeah, I feel you, Melissa. Sometimes it can feel like all the coins you buy don't pump, and all the ones you don't buy just go to the moon. I've been there with that frustration, and then eventually one that you do have does pump, right? So WonderFi is a Canadian regulated crypto platform operator, BitBuy, CoinSquare, with trading, staking, and payments. Okay, so WonderFi is, it's backed by Robinhood. That's very interesting. I guess it's Robinhood for the Canadian market. Maybe Robinhood doesn't translate well in Canada. I don't know. Or maybe they don't want it to be over there. I don't know. WonderFi. Probably not something I'd throw a lot of chips in, but that's me. Irene. Irene owns and operates next generation data centers. Okay, so Irene actually owns data centers. That's interesting. Mining and computation. 5.1 billion raised so far. That's kind of wild. That's a lot of money. But I mean, doesn't surprise me with data centers, right? I don't know how many data centers they actually own. NY Dig is one of the funders and backers. Looks like one of the only funders and backers. I don't see anybody else. They're holding it down with that 5.1 billion here. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. There's all kinds of projects to go over all the time. And then, of course, our topic of the night. Unitas Labs. Unitas is UniPay's on-chain dollar and yield stack, built first and foremost on the JLP delta neutral arbitrage engine. Wow, a lot of words. It just really hit you with the word salad there. I'm just playing. Whether you understood it or you didn't understand it. The 14th of March 2026, very new coin here. 52.3 million, been as high as 58. Seems pretty interesting. Let's go over to their website. Where stability meets real yield. Of course, everybody has been very on the stablecoin and stablecoin infrastructure train right now, right? So here is the Web3 version of Unitas. See what this chat's doing. Couple memes you had pumped out of nowhere, like Clanker, he says. Apex, cryptocurrency, pumps, or dumps. Moses says, Lord, please let at least one of our coins we are in pumped. Yes, exactly. I think we're all very much feeling that way. So there's an airdrop live for this, according to them. And you can connect your wallet. You can earn. I mean, this is pretty, anything financial Web3 standard here. APY 9.5%, not bad. 7-day APY. This represents the average annual yield over the past 7 days. Okay, so it's a little higher for this SUSDU. Some of the names of these stablecoins are going to become completely unmemorable because they have too many letters in them. All right, so that's Unitas Lab. And again, the more things are, trending constantly, relevant constantly, news about them, the more we continue to go over them and really strengthen the narrative. And we're still probably extremely early on a lot of these things. So Pheasant Network is an optimistic bridge specialized for layer 2 solutions. I hope they do it well because bridges are where almost all of your exploit and your hacks are. Designed to enhance interoperability and scalability between Ethereum and layer 2 networks, it employs optimistic rollups, inspired systems for processing bridge transactions. I don't know why you would go with optimistic rollups in the world of zero knowledge. Is it old or something? Are they out of the loop? I don't understand. Focusing on security, that's good to hear, and reduce gas costs. The network features decentralized liquidity to mitigate risk associated with bridge hacks. Okay, so at least they're largely aware of the arena that they're playing in. Yeah, most of it largely attributed to human error. The bridge collapses. Welcome in. Reliable J said, Liz, did you sleep on Lab? ? I know I didn't get to buy any Lab. There's too many coins. Blues Guy in the house. Welcome in, Blues Guy. Says opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them, and plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. I think that's a typo. Great to see you all. Yes, Blues Guy, welcome in. I was waiting for you. I knew you'd show up. I had faith. All right, let's keep moving here. We got Superior Trade. And the thing is, any of these coins could be the next Lab. 0.6 of a year from now, right? Like it says 6 months from now, any of these, or I guess that's a little more than 6 months, huh? Anyway, Superior Trade. Superior Trade is intelligence infrastructure with skill, back tests, and execution for autonomous AI trading agents. So it is very much, I think, geared towards AI trading agents. No token generation. and Amico Brands, though, as a backer, they've raised $1 million. So infrastructure, more AI infrastructure, tons of AI infrastructure, whether it's resources or AI agents or Claude or whatever. Banker Coin, shout out to Banker Coin. And I think that whole industry is just going to continue to do really well. DeFi.app or Home, we looked at this and went over it the other day because it is, of course, in the Base ecosystem when we were doing a whole week on Base ecosystems. How many numbers does Lab pump? Not exactly sure what your question is, but we'll go take a look at Lab real quick. Let's take a look at it. And we could go, let's see, gotta switch accounts here. Let's go take a look at this. Shorts. As you can see, I have been pumping out the shorts. But here is, where's Lab? There's Lab. So this was 7 months ago I was talking about Lab. And that is still doing pretty well, 1.8 thousand views 7 months ago, right? And so if we come back to the chart here, Crypto Quentin in the house, welcome in, welcome in. Been doing Lab trades for almost a month. I don't know. So let's go to the max chart for Lab here. Since you asked, we'll take a moment. October 13th, 2025 token generation event, right? And we were talking about it 7 months ago. Yeah, Reliable J says 7 months ago. Dang. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was pennies. It was like 12 cents. You know what I mean? I don't know if I have the bandwidth to figure out exactly when 7 months ago was. Somebody tell me because I hate doing that. Time to short Lab yet? I don't know. It's hard. I think Lab could go higher. Now, if BTC just dumps for the next month or two, it's hard to think Lab's going to keep going, but it could. I wouldn't rule it out completely. But anyways, you can see this thing was pennies, right? Under 15 cents for a long time when we first started talking about it. That is the power of the Underground Crypto Deep Dive show, as we talk about stuff way early. And you would see that it started to pump. Look, there it went. May 3rd, 2026 to $2.23. Just want to show you guys that. Market cap is up there. Yeah, it definitely is. And a lot of times these coins do come back down to earth. It's not uncommon for that to happen. May 13th, it was $6. Then you could have got it for a time around, between, $4 and $5. You could have scooped some up, and then it just took off. And that was that. Like if you go into the 3 month here. Did I buy Lab? No, I did not buy Lab. Because I talk about probably, 20, 30 coins every day. It's hard to buy all of them. He says the internet was cut off in my country for 3 months, brother. Yeah, that's terrible. I'm very sorry to hear that. The internet has been connected for a few days, and you're already on this channel. That's very impressive. You can see the actual determination to get information that you're looking for. Welcome. And again, 7 months ago we were talking about this. Now I'm not going to take credit. I don't try to say, hey, I don't give financial advice. I didn't say everybody should buy Lab. I didn't say that. I just laid out what it was, what it does. I might have said how I felt about it at the time. I'm sure I did. Anyways, this is home. This is what we were looking at before I went and kind of looked at lab. Crypto's everything app. So they want to be an everything app for crypto. They have this corny video about how anybody's, grandmother could use the app, which is good. I mean, that's wallet abstraction, chain abstraction. It's usability. It's, user UX, if you will. So there you go. Our partners, they have plenty of legitimate partners. Our investors, you're probably not going to recognize a lot of the investors. Maybe Layer Zero Foundation founders. Swap anything, anywhere. Let's see. Home, more stakers, less supply. Fee share, buyback, and yield. That's good. Governance, fees, and users flow into DeFi app. Basically, you'd have to go use the app to see if you really thought it was amazing. Does it do anything you can't do on Coinbase? Does it do anything that I can't do on Jupiter? Or is it just like a premier app and it's just going to do a lot of money into marketing and stuff like that? It could do really well. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. If it's really easy and simple and if it takes a lot of the fear out of the experience for a lot of newbies, then it'll probably do really well. The question is how well, even if this does well, how well does it affect the market cap of the coin? Did say that they have buybacks and stuff like that. That's the type of thing I like to see, for sure. All right, space markets. Who wants to get in on some space markets? Let's see. He says, is it true that near cryptocurrency will rise to $25? Well, I don't give any financial advice. I wouldn't tell you that near would go to $25 just off rip, but we can take a look at near and look at where it's at. It's at $2.60. Near is definitely a project that has a good reputation, I feel like, for sure, amongst community and stuff. Like, there's a lot of people who really believe in it. That's a positive. It has switched narratives more to being like an AI coin, which I think is a proper narrative for it. I think that's really good. I think that narrative is not a narrative that's going to just get brushed over quickly. Sometimes narratives come and go. SocialFi, stuff like that. They're hot for a second, then they're gone. Nobody cares about them. Decentralized exchange, hot for a second, then they're gone. Right? Even privacy coins have their time where nobody cares about them. Right? Near protocol is AI. I think AI, it's gonna be hard to find a time where people don't think AI is a hot narrative. So that's good. And let's see what they give it for categories here. Of course, AI. But of course, it's smart contracts, layer 1. Right? FTX holdings, that doesn't really matter. Alleged SEC securities, nobody cares about that right now, in my opinion. Data availability is a big one. See, data is very useful as a resource for AI, so that helps it a lot. It's in some portfolios. It is proof of stake, which neither here nor there for me, honestly. And it's in a bunch of indexes and stuff like that. Made in the US, so maybe regulation won't be so bad. It's got privacy in it, and it has a coinless launch pad, chain abstraction. I mean, Near really covers a lot of bases. It's only $2.60, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, where you're probably getting that $20 from is the fact that it ran to $20.24. At one point, I believe that to be the all-time high for Near. Yep, $20.44 all-time high was over 4 years ago in 2022. And the all-time low was 52 cents 5 years ago. So it ran from 52 cents to $20.44. Near seems like a strong project. Now, is it going to go back to $20? I don't exactly know. I mean, that would be your 10x from here. I would think if we get a bull market, it wouldn't be crazy. It's already got 3.3 billion, but for AI and all the money that's pumped through AI, like look at that AI project we were just looking at. And it's a data center, right? So it's not an AI project. It's mining and computation we were just looking at. They haven't even launched yet, and somebody's already invested $5.6 billion in it. So these type of projects that touch AI and these bigger narratives that get bigger money to flow through, 3.3 billion in market cap, not that crazy. Not that crazy at all. Matter of fact, let's refresh here. What I like about CoinGecko is that it's very easy to come to market cap as a chart instead of price, right? And let's see, does it change my analytics down here? It does not. And then we could zoom in here at that high, and that high says it was about 12.4 billion in market cap. So you can see quite a bit of money would need to flow into it. Now you have to take into consideration tokenomics, right? And let's see, circulating supply right now is 1.2, call it 1.3 billion in circulating supply. So you can see how if you take the circulating supply and you divide that number by your market cap, you get $2.61 effectively. So what do I want to say about that? Well, one thing I don't like is an infinite max supply. Now, the infinite max supply isn't immediately you should go running for the hills, in my opinion, for me. But what I would say is I would really have to dig in and know how often they're putting coins out, at what rate are they putting coins out, because you have to think about this. Basically $12 billion was able to send the price, right, to $20 and some cents. Let's do this. The Coin Perspective. Great website for doing what we call moon math, but also, it's not just moon math, it's just kind of any math, honestly. And let's pick our project here as Near Protocol. And we'll go and we'll put ourselves in $12 billion. There you go. So here's 12 billion. So here's the difference, right? 12, this is tokenomics. Like, this is a really good IQ raising moment for anybody who doesn't understand this stuff. Back when Near Protocol was $20, right? And some change. It only had 12 billion, roughly 12 point something, between 12 and 13 billion in its market cap. If you were to take that same $12 billion and put it in Near now, it would only get you $9.25. So what does that tell you? It tells you if we took that number and we doubled it, 24 billion instead of 12, you still wouldn't be at $20, right? So we can kind of reverse engineer this here. Let's give it a price, right? Let's say we want to see how much money it would have to get to $20. 25.9, call it 26. You'd basically need $26 billion into Near Protocol. Now, is $26 billion in a bull run crazy? Not really. It is a lot more than what's there right now, right? That's a lot more money than what is currently there. So let's go back and let's look. What is the current right here market cap? 3.3. So you can imagine how much money would need to come in Near Protocol. But it is a really strong project, and trillions of dollars would flow, at least $1 trillion, if not more, 1.5, maybe $2 trillion or more would flow into the crypto market if we had a serious bull run. How much of a percentage is, $23 billion out of that money? It's not a lot. It could go higher. It could go to $25, right? Let's see, what do you need for $25 here? $32 billion. So is it crazy to believe it could go back to 2025? No, not at all. It's a strong project. When people are looking for where to put money, the smart investors who have billions of dollars, right, not retail, they're going to put their money in very strong projects. Near has presented itself as a very well-rounded project. So my thesis here is it's more than possible that it could return to those highs. I'm not sure why I went that far. Probably because we got a new user in the house, and I love when people come in and ask questions. This is the place to do it. So I traded my ETH on Wealth Simple for some Near, Let's hope it pays off. I still have some ETH on weeks earning staking rewards. Well done. Let's see. What did I miss here? Blues guy talking about near appreciate you. Melissa says, I'm trying, but that one opportunity I constantly miss out almost every time. It's something wants me to fail. It's so easy to feel like that, Melissa. It certainly can try to shake you out of your conviction. That's for sure. And sometimes it does feel like we're cursed, and that everything we do, we don't get what a lot of other people just kind of walk in. Like I threw $220 in Dogecoin as an absolute person who knew nothing about crypto. I mean, literally nothing. And I hit a heck of a win there. Now I still hold Doge, so did I hit a heck of a win? No, but I watched the number go up. I was very new. I did not understand that it was going to come down because I was very new. Who's still holding hype is what I want to know, or did everybody sell the top? Blues guy says, thank you God for everything in my life, the good, the bad. Some were blessings, some were lessons. Love that. Green Figure says, you trading anything right now, UG? No, I'm not. I'm not in love with what the market looks like right this second. And also, I had in the mornings I go for long walks. It's a lot of times when I shoot my reels, right? It's how I get up in the morning, have some coffee, go for a long walk. And by long, I mean like 3 hours. And so I've decided I want to go back to stacking spot bags. It's just a better game. It's such a better game, in my opinion, than constantly trying to worry about all these leverage trades. It just takes up too much time in my life. I don't have the time to sit in front of the computer. One day I'm going to be full-time crypto YouTube, full-time in front of my computer, markets, that kind of stuff. I'll still definitely go for my long walks and hit the gym, but that'll be like my main focus. Just taking 2 seconds here to catch my breath before we move on. I do this YouTube. I have a handyman company, right? I just went for what is a pretty large epoxy flake floor bid today and a bunch of tree work. That's just one example. I got hurricane shutters. They're going to start flooding in here in no time. I have an eBay plus multiple different platform resale company that does pretty well, which requires a lot of listing inventory, pulling inventory, shipping inventory, right? So I have a lot on my plate, and I have some other things going as well that are smaller. And so there you go. A lot of stuff going all the time, but I'm very dedicated to this, and this is what I want to do full time. So that's a little bit about me. Tell me a little bit about you. So here we go. Thanks again for the information you gave. Absolutely, man. Thank you for the channel. Welcome in. I have a feeling you'll stick around. This is every night, 8:30 p.m. New York time. That's Monday through Friday. On the weekends, we do Saturday at 10 p.m. So welcome in, and we go over a ton of different information. Reliable J says, build bags in the bear market. Absolutely. Will Apex pump the $25 or Aster cryptocurrency? Apex. Yeah, I did a big breakdown for Near, and I can't do it for every coin right this second. We do have a members-only live stream. I don't know how hard that is for you to do, but it's after this live stream. That's a good place. Also, go and look down. You'll see I have it pinned, the link for our Discord. That's a really, really good place for me to answer those longer questions. We have a voice channel if you want to talk directly. We can correspond back and forth through direct message. We can just talk in the main hangout, and other people can get in on the conversation. I think that's really awesome. Or you can get a membership. It's $3.99 a month, and after these streams, Monday through Thursday, we do a members only stream where you can ask as many questions as you want. You can ask questions here. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to take the whole show to answer all your questions, in one show. Over time, I think I'll answer all the questions. But anyway, just wanted to tell you about that you have a lot of options there as far as talking with me. But I don't give financial advice. I can just kind of tell you my understanding of how things work. Yeah, hopefully they can make a deal, open the straight. Yeah, right now that doesn't look good. Let's see, which I didn't understand in the story. Not sure what you're referring to. Camsta's talking about a lot of things. Respect the hustle, man. I appreciate that, Cryptic Quentin. Yeah, I'm kind of a go hard kind of person. What can I say? 007 Zoe in the house. Love to see that name come through. Welcome in, welcome in. Yep, 000Leo, yo. That's what Green Fingers is saying. I love that. Yeah, your name is catchy, man. Very memorable. Thank you for being a part of this community, Zoe. All right, market. Space markets. We're going to get back on track. I don't know why we got off in the weeds there, but hey, it's a long show. We're just rolling into the first hour, and you know how we roll. About a 2-hour minimum here. And then a members-only stream. Anyway, space markets is building an exchange for space assets. Boy, that sounds cool. But see, are we talking about space like outer space? Are we talking about space like digital space? Including indices, derivatives, and spot, right? So is this space indices? I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. It's kind of like hope all is well. He says, yes, we hope all is well with you. Everything is good with me, that's for sure. Just like I was saying, constantly shaking and baking. Gotta keep everything moving all the time. But what I was gonna say here is that there's people who speculate the new branch of the U.S. government, the space branch, is referring. I've heard a lot of funny stuff about it. I don't know what's true. I think it refers to space, like actual outer space. But the whole flip here is that maybe it refers to space inside the digital world, and maybe it's more directed towards that kind of space. I don't know, but that's what it kind of made me think of, the space markets. They're in funding rounds. Doesn't look like they have any numbers yet to give us. They're a decentralized exchange. Moving on. I've had that up for way too long. Let's move right along here. If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. The Blues Guy. Blues Guy dropping his wisdom in the chat. All right, so we have Stargate Finance. That sounds like something that should be in the space market, doesn't it? Stargate is a composable omni-chain native asset bridge powered by Layer 0 protocol. So bridges, highly necessary, a high point of exploit, but just like that one was talking about, I believe it was Pheasant Protocol, most of the money lost from bridges has been human error, not blockchain technology being hacked at some crazy high sophisticated level. So keep that in mind. Blues Guy says anything space, I stay away. 00 says thank you. Absolutely. All right, so we got a few we don't really need to go over. Hyperliquid CoinX, right? Token, centralized exchange. I'm pretty sure of that. Helium, Piverse, Hive, Raved Out, and Aerodrome. I'll touch on Piverse and Hive. Just going to read the description. Piverse is a X402 platform powering agent-to-agent transactions via Universal Commerce Protocol. So they've switched up their narrative a little bit because this was not the description that they had. So that's something you probably want to take note of. Let's see. Piverse is a Web3 AI agent platform. That is not what they came out as. We went over this several times. This is not what they came out as. They have shifted here, which is fine. They were very new, but they were all about timestamping and TimeFi. They very much changed what they were talking about here. AI agents directly inside popular messaging apps such as these, WhatsApp, and this Kako, I don't know what that is. Line, of course, we know what Line is. Agents are launched with one click via Perfect Claw mechanism. Okay, kind of gives me some banker vibes a little bit. Secured with Trusted Execution Environment, or T, you'll see represented as a lot. Eliminating the need for users to manage a seed phrase or private keys. The agents can perform on-chain actions including token swaps, smart contract execution, portfolio management, and cross-chain operations across major blockchains. Very interesting. And let's go take a look at their categories here. All right. they were definitely TimeFi. No doubt about it. They have switched up their entire thing, which doesn't give me good vibes. Like, I'm all for them doing what they're doing, and maybe they decided, like, TimeFi seemed like a very simple thing. They probably still do that, honestly, because it's not like a huge, crazy technology. It's a very simple thing. But it seems like maybe what they've done could be bullish. They've continued to build, right? They continued to build more value, I guess you could say. Wow, sunny. They have a sunny version. I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means, but I don't know what the point of it is. It's like it's brighter than bright. So it's Piverse. I do like that they have a lot more going on here. That's cool. But they used to be TimeFi. Don't let that sleep on you. I don't know how I feel about them switching up like that. But hopefully it's just because they kept building, and now they've built themselves into like a much bigger project here. Binance Wallet, OKX, and Coinbase Wallet, all viable options here. Good thing we touched on it, right? X402 protocol. Don't sleep on the narrative. A lot of people will be using that, and we've known about it for a long time. What is X402? Came out in 1993. HTTP 402 protocol. Hive is the blockchain for Web3 3.0, providing an ecosystem for apps, communities, and individuals. Hive. And we've looked at Hive before. It's only at 37.3 million. Delegated proof of stake, right? So a form of proof of stake consensus. Consensus is how a blockchain is run. Boy, I feel like going on a tangent there. I'm going to hold that one for another day. Fast and scalable. It's got some community aspects to it, right? Let's see. Learn about Hive. We got a roadmap, contributive, Hive dollar, stable coin with a 15% APR, they say. That's pretty high. Ecosystem, apps, wallet, block explorer. Let's see. What would I want to look at? I think I'd want to look at about Hive. Built for Web3. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this. We're about to get moving on all of this Monad stuff. So Hive is an innovative and forward-looking decentralized blockchain, an ecosystem designed to scale with widespread adoption for the currency and platform in mind. By combining the lightning-fast processing time and fee-less transactions, Hive is one of the leading Web3 blockchains used by people around the world. That is what they said. They said this, right? We're just taking their word for it. I don't know if that's actually true at all. Hive is a 3-second blockchain with transactions confirmed within milliseconds due to a 1-block irreversibility, allowing for a seamless experience. Sounds pretty cool. Do I know a ton about it? No. Is the purpose of this week going over small blockchains that you've never heard of? Yes. So this fits our narrative very well. Maybe we're going to be coming back to Hive. I don't know. We will find out. All right. So here's where we're going to go, right? And yes, I set up whole week series, right? Yes, I use ChatGPT to do that. If you have a problem with it, then I don't think you're very pro-crypto and AI agents and all of that stuff, because it's all about using AI. And here I am using it. I got to put, my money where my mouth is, right? And I think it's excellent at organizing all of my thoughts and ideas for putting together series. There we go. I know someone's always thinking it. He says, thank you again, brother, for the information you gave. Absolutely. And, we're all about raising your crypto IQ. I would, of course, it's a little biased. I highly encourage you to come back and be a part of this channel, because we have a lot of things to raise your crypto IQ. I think you'll find them very interesting if you actually care about information. Some people don't care about information. Some people just want you to tell them what's going to 10x next. That this is not that channel. Although we find them. We were looking at Lab. We find more than 10x's, but it's not a call. I'm not going to be like, you should buy this coin, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a financial advisor. So crypto has always promised something bigger than speculation. It promises open finance. Yes, I've already read this. It's for the people who were not here. Digital ownership, it promises. Global payments, on-chain games, decentralized social networks, new internet economies. I'm really loving the new internet economies. That's what I'm looking for. But there is one issue that keeps showing up underneath all of these ideas. And remember, those ideas were things that they came up for the use cases of this blockchain technology from the get-go, right? From the days of Ethereum's inception. So the user experience still has to work, has to be user-friendly. And for many use cases, that means it has to feel fast. A trader does not want to wait around while the market moves in order to get in and out while you got some kind of slow blockchain usability. A gamer doesn't want to think about block times during gameplay. Social app users don't want to feel like every transaction is a financial transaction. And a normal person does not want to understand gas, execution, settlement, finality, or mempools. Shout out to anybody who remembers what a mempool is. Basically, the average person doesn't want to raise their crypto IQ, which sucks. But we're working on them. We're working on them. Let's see. Can't read this. Says, when are they going to accept crypto at the store, and which crypto would it be? Also peer-to-peer. Well, you can already use crypto at a store. Just get on any exchange that has a Visa card, and then you can use it. That's very simple. When are they going to allow you to peer-to-peer Bitcoin? Some places do, some places don't. Honestly, I think that more expensive stuff like car dealerships and stuff will probably implement a lot of that first. As far as like using Bitcoin to buy a chocolate bar at 7-Eleven, you're going to have to use a third party to do it. But there are a lot of third parties to do it, like a lot of them. So it's not hard to do. You just have to actually do it. And if you're holding crypto on your phone, you probably already have Coinbase, Trust Wallet, Kraken, Uphold. You know, you probably already have those. And they all have instruments, Visa cards and stuff in which you can use your crypto. Some of them digital where you just scan it like Apple Pay. So with that being said, you don't have to put that much time and effort and energy into quickly being able to figure out how you can spend crypto everywhere you go if most of your money's in crypto and you don't really want to have to convert it all into like US dollar or whatever your native currency is. Anyways, moving on. A normal person doesn't want to understand gas, execution, settlements, finality, or mempools. They just want an app to work. That is why speed matters. Not because higher throughput per second makes a better marketing headline. Speed matters because it changes what a developer can actually build. If transactions are slow or expensive or both, developers have to design around those limits, and that's very limiting. They avoid certain types of apps. They limit users' actions. They move more activity off-chain. They simplify experience that could have been much richer, right? But if blockchain becomes fast enough, cheap enough, responsive enough, and the design space changes, suddenly on-chain games become more realistic. Order book trading becomes more practical. Social interactions become more possible. Microtransactions become less ridiculous, right? They don't become so expensive that they're not even worth doing. Hashtag X402 protocol. That is the race that Monad and MegaETH are entering, and this is really our topic of the day as we push past our first hour of streaming here. That's when we usually get into some of the sauce, right? And they're not just saying, we want more transactions. They're asking, what would crypto look like if Ethereum virtual machine felt much faster? And that's an important question, because Ethereum-style apps have already massive developer mindshare. The Ethereum virtual machine has tooling, wallets, smart contracts, existing developers, and a huge ecosystem. So instead of asking developers to leave everything behind, projects like Monad and MegaETH are trying to preserve EVM compatibility with dramatically improving the performance. But they approach the goal differently. Monad is a layer 1. It's trying to build a high-performance Ethereum virtual machine compatible blockchain from the ground up. MegaETH is a layer 2, similar to Base, Arbitrum, Polmatic, and it's trying to bring real-time execution to Ethereum while still settling on Ethereum. That distinction matters a lot because it shows two different philosophies for solving the same problem. One says, let's build faster Ethereum virtual machine chain, EVM chain. I hope I've said it enough that everybody knows that's what EVM stands for. The other says, let's make Ethereum feel real time through layer 2 scaling. Both are trying to answer the same deeper question. Can crypto become fast enough for the next generations of applications? Now, I've talked about this several times, right? What holds blockchain technology back from being the backbone of pretty much everything going on your phone, on the computer, and everything is scalability. In real blockchain environment, you have high levels of security, high levels of finality and provability, right? That things exist, who owns them. We have a lot of security and solidarity on the blockchain. But what has been one of the hardest things is scalability. And here's what everybody does. I say I make an app. The app's really cool. It's got a lot of good security and stuff like that because I built it on Ethereum. But now my app is starting to pick up some popularity, and 1 million people around the world want to use it, like really use it all the time as core main users of my app. I don't know where the thresholds are specifically for users and scaling. Is it 1 million? Is it 10 million? I don't know. But you start running into scalability problems very fast. And this is what we have to solve. We could talk blockchain trilemma. There is a blockchain trilemma. I've been over it several times. We will be over it again at some point, but it won't be right now. Blues Guy says, gratitude is an exertion of the will. It's an overflow, a sense of being treated better than you deserve. Absolutely. So let's keep moving on here. Monad and MegaETH. Time to dig in. Put your caps on. Who wants to raise that crypto IQ? That is the MO of the channel. So we used a story to kind of set the foundation. Let's get into some of the detail. So crypto's speed problem is really a user experience problem at the end of the day, because that's what it translates into for the people who use the blockchain technology, or the dApps, which is just throwing a D for decentralization at the beginning of application. So decentralized application. I always gotta, I move through things quickly. I gotta remember not everybody understands all of the wording. Before we get into this, I'm going to take 2 seconds to say this, because this is for somebody out there, right, who's intimidated by large amounts of information, who for whatever reason is here or going to watch this later. A lot of it is just words with definitions. Interoperability, right, is a good example. It just means things that work together. Now, the word might look scary on paper, but the meaning of it, the definition, is not. It just means things work in tandem or together, not to use more big words, but it works together with other things easily. Interoperability. So a lot of times in any space, whether you're getting into financial, legal stuff, crypto, high-techy stuff, AI, it's a lot of definitions of words that you're going to need to understand first. And if you start there, then when you read things, it's not going to feel so overwhelming if you just focus on knowing what certain words mean. I'm going to leave it at that, right? Because I could go on a tantrum about that. I've always got a million things I want to say to you guys. So crypto's speed problem is really a user problem, right? When people hear speed, they usually think of TPS. Another thing, just like definitions, are abbreviations. Throughput per second, the amount of transactions per second that can be put through the system, right? Not complicated, but if you just see TPS everywhere and you don't take 3 seconds to go figure out what it is, or ask ChatGPT or Google or whatever what that means in reference to crypto, you'll spend a lot of time having no idea what everybody's talking about. But the deeper issue is user experience, right? Most users don't care how many transactions per second a chain can theoretically process. That doesn't get most people excited. They care whether the app feels responsive. Does it feel like when I hit a button, it does what it's supposed to do relatively quickly and consistently, to where I could count on it doing what I need it to do when I need it to do it. They care whether the transaction confirms quickly. They care whether the fees are low enough that they don't hesitate before clicking, which has been Ethereum's problem for a long time. I really feel like we're moving out of the space where the fees on Ethereum is going to be a talking point for a lot of people. I feel like that day is pretty much over, I'm going to be honest. But who knows? Some people might really hang on to that narrative. It has put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth who's been here in Web3 for a long time, but it will fade when it changes and people can use it and it's not expensive. So speed becomes important because it affects behavior. If every action feels slow or costly, users interact less often. That was certainly true with Ethereum. And I think Ethereum is very much setting up to continue to be exactly where it's been, the number 2 cryptocurrency by market cap. I think it's going to stay that way. If anything passes it, it's still going to be top 3, top 4. But for now, it's still top 2. And I think a lot of people slept on it and felt like it was going to get completely taken over by something like Solana. And I just don't think that that's true. Although I think Solana over time is going to do well. BNB do well. XRP do well. Even Cardano. So developers then build less ambitious apps. So they dumb things down because the scalability is not there and the usability is not there because they know users will not tolerate the friction. That is why the speed conversation is not just technical. It's more about whether crypto can compete with Web 2 layer expectations. So the centralized version of the internet, the centralized version of applications, the centralized user experience that's not blockchain, right, is what most people are very used to. You hop on your phone, you use a web browser, whatever you do on your phone, it's very quick because it's not decentralized. It's not a massive blockchain. It's not immutable. It can be changed at any point. You know what I mean? Somebody owns it. Somebody has servers and access to servers, even if it's AWS. And basically, it's not the same thing as blockchain technology. It's not as secure as blockchain. It's not as immutable. But for most people, they don't even know what any of that means, right? That's why you're here raising that crypto IQ. Blues Guy says, much gratitude, my man, underground. Thank you. I appreciate you. Again, Melissa, showing off those custom emojis that I made. If you would like some custom emojis, they are $2.99 a month. And we will be adding lots of them. Of course, that's the membership that comes with a bunch of stuff, including the membership-only stream, which is directly after this stream. So the EVM is powerful. And EVM, again, Ethereum virtual machine. But it was not originally built for massive consumer scale speed. Now, this might feel like a lot of information. This series, this week, might feel like a lot of information. A lot of times I do a lot of putting these in different orders and stuff like that so I don't overwhelm you. There's so much information to go over this week. You guys might want to just buckle up, right? So the Ethereum virtual machine became one of the most important developer environments in crypto. So what is the Ethereum virtual machine, right? Well, it's mostly the coding language and things that goes on with Ethereum development and the compatibility within that machine that everything kind of runs through on Ethereum network. And so when other chains came out, a lot of them didn't want to create like a whole different coding system, right? They wanted to use something that was already well recognized by developers, because every time you have a new chain with a totally different coding language and things like that, developers have to completely relearn that stuff. And then you have this segregation where like an Ethereum developer can't really develop well on Cardano. Now I know that there's instruments for that where like things can be translated and stuff. We're not going to get off into the weeds. That's not what we're here for. It gave developers a standard way to build smart contracts. It created a huge ecosystem of wallets, tooling, DeFi apps, NFTs, and infrastructure. We are talking about the Ethereum virtual machine. But traditional EVM execution has bottlenecks, and if you've been here long enough, you know all about that. Many EVM-based systems process transactions in a more sequential way, which limits performance when many users interact with the network at once. Think of one chain and everything, or here's a better one. Think of one pipe. This will make more sense, I feel like. A pipe that runs water, okay? And you have one pipe, and that's it. So you have to think, if we continually need more water on wherever the pipe comes out, Well, you have to increase the size of the pipe. You have to increase, the pressure of the water. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can increase the amount of water that comes out of the pipe, but all of them require some kind of work, right? You gotta increase how big the pipe is so more water can flow. Maybe you increase the pressure so more water just flows quicker through the same pipe, but you have to do something. And you can get the bottleneck, which is basically only so much water can go through the pipe at one time, right? Many EVM-based systems process transactions in a more sequential way, which limits performance when many users interact with the network at one time, right? So when we need all the water through the pipe at one time to, suffice for an entire civilization, it becomes a problem. It's just not enough water. Sometimes almost doesn't matter how big the pipe is. And that does not mean that EVM is bad. Doesn't mean that it's unsuccessful. It just means that it needs to continue to evolve. It is a new technology. So EVM became extremely successful before the infrastructure was fully ready for massive scale consumer usage. That is why new projects keep asking, can we keep EVM compatibility while improving execution dramatically? That is the key idea behind both Monad and MegaETH, and we talked about how they are doing this differently. Again, Monad, its own layer 1, MegaETH, a layer 2. So Monad's bet. Here's what Monad is trying to do. And I told you you're going to learn something here. Some people can't handle this, so if you're still here right now, listening to the sound of my voice and trying to soak up this information, I'm going to be honest, this is my opinion. I think you're doing better than 99% of people in cryptocurrency, because a lot of them can't handle this layer of depth. They just want what coin is going to pump, and then they want to add it to their portfolio and sit around and check the overall of their portfolio every 5 minutes. They don't want to think. They don't want to do anything, and it's a real shame. But as a channel, we're going to do our best to try to promote people to learn. So Monad's bet here, keep the EVM, rebuild the performance layer. So Monad is trying to solve the problem as a high performance layer 1. So they're keeping the Ethereum virtual machine, but they're redesigning how they're going to use it. The most important idea here is that Monad wants developers to keep using Ethereum ecosystem they already understand while gaining a much faster execution environment. Monad is EVM compatible, which matters because developers do not need to learn an entirely new programming model just to access performance. And the more that we kind of keep the same programming models is probably the better, right? Because when you come out with a new chain, Cardano did this for sure. It has its own coding language and stuff, and maybe that's why their ecosystem doesn't grow that hard, because for you as a developer to dedicate the time to learn a whole new coding language, it's got to be worth it. Like, there has to be a lot of people who want things built, and I don't think that Cardano quite has that going on, but Ethereum does, and that's why most developers are in Ethereum, right? They're going to go where the money flows because they have to get paid for their time, and if there's not really a lot of money flowing in the Cardano ecosystem, as an example, there's other ecosystems like Solana and stuff, the money's not flowing to the developers, they're going to go where the money's flowing, right? Because it is their job. The big concept associated with Monad is parallel execution. Instead of handling everything one transaction at a time, the system is designed to process non-conflicting transactions more effectively. The simple analogy is this: if one cashier is checking out every customer in one line, throughput is limited. This is actually a really good way. I'm surprised I never thought of this. To explain this, right? So if your blockchain is basically one cashier and one checkout line, you've all gone to a grocery store, you know what happens when there's one cashier on a busy day, or even two cashiers on a busy day. You stand in the line, and your transaction also stands in a line when there's only one cashier or one system validating finality on chain. But if multiple cashiers can process independent customers at the same time, the store moves much faster. That would be your modular blockchain models, different models that just basically allow more things to be processed. So here's one idea. You have your little grocery store and you're like, okay, we only have one line. Like say you're a really, really small grocery store in a really small town and you literally only have one cashier and one cashier line. And you might think, well, we'll just make the cashier move 10 times faster. That works a little bit at first, move faster, but at some point you hit a limit where you can only move so fast with that cashier, right? So you need more lines of cashiers. So that is the basic idea of parallel execution, right? Think 2 cashier lines versus 1 cashier line. The challenge is making sure all of that still produces the correct, consistent blockchain state. You can't sacrifice anything of the network, right? Security, reliability, that the transactions are legitimate, right? You can't just let somebody come in and mint $1 million of money that's not there because you tried to make it a little bit faster. So Monad's pitch is not just about fast. It is, can you make the Ethereum virtual machine much faster without making developers leave the EVM ecosystem? Monad's official materials describe it as a high-performance EVM-compatible blockchain, and its site highlights targets like 10,000 throughput per second and sub-second finality. It means like less than a second. Finality, it means in less than a second, the transaction goes in as a proposal into a mempool, gets picked up, put into a block, minted on chain in sub-second, less than a second. It's very fast. That was Monad. I don't see a lot going on in the chat. I'm willing to bet that's because you guys are too busy taking notes with a pen and a paper. I'm sure of it, actually. And remember, I do this for myself as well. So I'm learning a lot as well. I know some general things here, but even in that little time, I learned a few things about Monad that I didn't really know, or I put some connections together. So I am here learning with you guys as a community. This is not, look at me, I'm so smart, let me tell you everything about crypto. There is so much in this space that we all have to kind of learn together. So MegaETH, right? So we talked about Monad and what they're doing, their bet per se. MegaETH's bet, make Ethereum feel real time, which is basically kind of the equivalent of sub-second finality, right? But again, it's a layer 2, it's a different approach. MegaETH's approach, the speed problem differently. Instead of being a whole separate layer 1, MegaETH is Ethereum's layer 2. That means it's trying to improve performance while still connecting back to Ethereum settlement. MegaETH's main phase is real-time Ethereum. That is important language. They are not just saying Ethereum needs to be cheaper. They are saying Ethereum-style apps need to feel instantaneous. MegaETH official site claims 100,000 throughput per second. So here's the difference. 10,000 throughput per second, 100,000 TPS throughput per second. How many things can be put through the system every second? And sub-second, 10 millisecond blockchain block times, right? Minting a block. While docs describe it as a high-performance Ethereum layer 2 with roughly 10 millisecond block time in real-time transaction processing. This is incredibly fast. I don't know if it can actually pull that off, and the demand is probably not 100 throughput per second all the time, but man, that's incredibly fast. 007 Zoe says, still here, upgrading my crypto IQ. I am blessed to hear that. Thank you for letting me know that you're still here. It does help a lot. It helps with my confidence that people are really getting the value out of the show. But I'd be here doing it either way. So the types of apps this could matter for, very different from slower blockchain use cases. Think about high-frequency trading interfaces, right? Now, SEI, or SEI, I think all of us agreed it's supposed to be SEI. They want to be the trading backbone, a very specialized blockchain, and that's SEI, right? I'm just throwing this out there. But are they as fast as 100 throughput per second? Are they sub-second blockchain? We could look into that. But you really need crazy fast for trading. On-chain games, of course, have to be very fast. Real-time auctions would have to be very fast. Live social interactions, fast, right? Maybe not as fast as some of these other ones, but they still have to be pretty quick. Payment flows, apps where latency matters. MegaETH is basically asking, what if Ethereum applications could feel closer to a Web 2 application, which has to happen for adoption, for people to care about it? Like, that has to happen. That is very different ambition than simply reducing gas fees. So the big takeaway here, in my opinion, of what we've gone over so far, is this is very different than saying, hey, I wish Ethereum was cheaper, which again, I think is a narrative you're going to see kind of go away, because I think Ethereum has gotten cheaper, and most of it is through different methods, but mostly layer 2 scaling, right? So Monad versus MegaETH is really layer 1 performance versus a layer 2 scaling. Again, they're coming at it from completely different ideas. This is a key comparison for you guys, right? Monad and MegaETH are not doing exactly the same thing. Monad is a layer 1, MegaETH is a layer 2. That means they represent two different paths towards the same outcome. Monad says, build a high-performance EVM-compatible base chain. MegaETH says, use Ethereum as the settlement foundation and make execution layer in real time. This difference matters because it connects to a bigger debate in crypto. Should the future be a bunch of layer 1s, or should the future be through Ethereum scaling layer 2s? The big takeaway for me is that layer 2s get to inherit all of the security from Ethereum, and that is a big takeaway. That is why this episode is not just about two projects. It's about two different views of how crypto infrastructure evolves. Now we're going to take a little bit of a pause, because I can see viewership dropping like a rock, like it's hot, like Bitcoin price action, because this is a lot to take in, and this is, again, very few people can stand in the arena, okay? When it comes to raising your crypto IQ, very few people can stand in the fire. So if you're here and you're actually picking up, you should really pat yourself on the back, because not a lot of people can do it. All right, we're going to break it up. We're going to come back to it. That was a big chunk of information. I hope that you got something out of it. At least, I hope you understand the difference between Monad and MegaETH. And maybe you're formulating some kind of opinion on which one of those you think has the best ability to win in the space. I think Monad has first mover advantage. I think they have brand recognition. I think Monad probably has good use case. But from the information that we just went over, it looks like MegaETH is way faster. So at the end of the day, which one is more capable? Now, they both make claims. One is, it's a big difference. I mean, Monad is talking about 10,000 throughput per second, and MegaETH is talking about 100,000 throughput per second. That's a 10x on Monad. So assuming that they both do what they say they're going to do, which one seems like it's more capable in the long run? There you go. Greenfinger says, Camp's still here, question mark. He says, we hear, my man. Cool. This week is going to be a little bit of a test of who cares about, like, we do a lot of stuff, so maybe not everybody's here for the crypto IQ raising. That's fine. But we're going to find out who isn't able to hang and raise their crypto IQ. That's for sure. We got to get deep in the sauce at some point. Let's talk about top gainers, top losers of the day. So top gainers right now is Home, which is really interesting because we talked about Home and went over the website and stuff like that when we were going over the base ecosystem last week. It gets me really excited because do you guys understand the value, the compounding value that is given out on this stream week after week after week after week? I think it's amazing. And it's not about me just saying how amazing I am for doing the stream. That's not my point, guys. My point is being consistent and learning consistently has such a compounding value in a fast-moving space where information is literally the value that I think that we're doing a great job. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say. Sky AI up 21%. Home is up 28.6%. WorldCoin, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's up 18.9%, so let's call it 19%. Near Protocol, which, our friend here was very bullish on, I think, is up 14.4%. Siren Humanity Meme Core, and the fact that Near is up 14% means people have eyes on it. It's got attention. Top losers of the day. Helium Network, a top loser. XLM, it's down, but it pumped hard. See, here's the difference is XLM pumped really hard, like 60-70%, and it's down 11%. Helium Network, I'm just running off the top of my head here. I don't think it pumped all that hard. It definitely didn't catch my attention, so it didn't pump that hard. DYDX is down 9%. I don't love to see that. Basic attention token. I just wanted to make sure I didn't say attestation. There's so many words that are very close together. Trips me up. Terra Luna Classic, IOTA, and 00. And there's an element to this. There's an element to this community. Since I'm taking a minute to break things up and just kind of chat with you guys, different than just shoving information down your throat, which there will be time for that. I just want to encourage people, if you have a goal, if you have something you want to do, one, I highly encourage you to share it with us, even if it's uncrypto related, because I do consider us a crypto family, but there's just wealth in community, right? There's wealth in good people who are in a space and all the things. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's a self-improvement, go for that better future type of thought a lot of times baked into cryptocurrency, because a lot of people got into cryptocurrency because they wanted to change their life. They wanted to make money, and they wanted to change their situation. And I just want to say that a lot of that comes with a lot more than just making money. Okay, it's about your mind. Being successful is more about becoming somebody that success gravitates towards because of who you are, versus you just get lucky and you hop into crypto and you make a bunch of money. Because honestly, most people who make $1 million fast don't know how to be a millionaire, and most of them lose the $1 million very quickly. Right? They make $1 million, they think they're going to retire because they have $1 million in their bank account for a period of time. But then they upgrade their life. The average cost of their life on a daily basis goes up dramatically, and you realize that $1 million is not a lot of money. Why am I talking about this? Well, because I very much consider you guys family, crypto family here, especially my core members here. Doesn't mean, don't get me wrong, that does not mean I feel like anybody here owes me anything. That's not what we're talking about. Just talking about being supportive with our core group of people here. If you got something going on, always feel free to DM me. But of course, if you just want to grow, right? I highly have a lot of things that I recommend. A lot of things like Jim Rohn. I listen to Jim Rohn most mornings on my walks. It gets my mind clear. It gets me understanding that I have to increase the value. And this goes hand in hand with trying to maybe motivate you a little bit to lock in with some of this crypto information, or this raising your crypto IQ, as we like to talk about, because you have to be more valuable if you want more value to flow into your life. Value goes where value is. That's my opinion. That's how I like to look at it. There's many different ways to say the same thing, so don't get confused if you have listened to somebody else who says the information a different way, but the core philosophical concept doesn't usually change a whole lot, right? So if you want more value in your life, then you need to be more valuable. So if you wake up in the morning and you think, how can I extract all the value from everything around me. Well, you're a taker, not a maker. If you wake up in the morning and think, how can I create value monetarily for the people who work with me, for the people in every aspect, how can I be more valuable of a person? And that could be just as simple as having a good attitude. You know, attitude is altitude. Attitude controls how high you can fly. All right. So when your attitude sucks, who's going to want to do that deal with you? Who's going to want to be your investing partner? Who's going to want to put money down on your idea? Because when people invest, especially like a silent investor or something, they're investing like 25% in the idea and 75% in the fact that they believe you are the person who could pull this off and who's going to follow through and make it work and make money, make profit, and they're investing in you. So attitude is altitude. And I'm not going to harp on this forever. I just want to encourage people to try to rise above where they are a little bit and believe, because it's all belief, right? You rather believe that you can learn or you don't. And if you don't believe that you can learn, you're not somebody who can learn. Maybe you thought in school you were dumb. Whatever it was that got you to the place where you don't believe you can learn, then you tune out just automatically. You don't even, a lot of people subconsciously, they don't even know that they're doing it. It's a moment to reflect and think, do I do this, right? Because you're in a crypto IQ raising live stream here on the internet. Welcome. If you're somebody who doesn't believe you're smart, then you tune out when people say or do things that seem smart. Just automatically, subconsciously, you probably are completely unaware that you do it, but you don't absorb the information. You think, man, I'm not smart, I can't absorb the information. It's not that you're not smart. It's that you believe you can't absorb the information, and so your brain gives you exactly what you believe. And I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to keep moving in this thing, and I'm going to bring this up more often because I realize it's not just about giving you guys information. It's also inspiring you to believe that you can actually know the stuff that's high level, that's maybe considered high level or considered cutting edge. Zero knowledge proofs, zero knowledge roll-ups, optimistic roll-ups, mem pools. Like, there's so many things that I could throw out there. But a lot of it, when you put it by itself, is not complicated. A mempool. When a transaction, when you bring up a transaction in your wallet, MetaMask, whatever, and you click sign and you sign that and you put, it's a proposal because it hasn't been finished yet. It goes to a place, a space, a mempool, where it sits and waits for the validator to pick it up. That's not very complicated. Okay, that's not complicated. It's just a place where transactions wait. Just like the line at the grocery store, where do you wait to have your transaction, your groceries, transacted? And when you pay the cashier, that's finality. It's done. You get a receipt that says, hey, it's done. It's paid for. This person can walk out of the store with their groceries. They're not hard concepts. In reality, you're doing it every day. You know finality. If you've ever bought anything at a store ever, you know what finality is. Not a hard concept. If you've waited in line, then you understand what it is for a transaction to wait in line. And now we're moving back to raising that crypto IQ. What's going on in my chat? Jimmy Villain says, totally awesome information. I hold Monad and Plasma. You just introduced me to MegaETH coin. Yeah, and I think MegaETH is cheap comparatively. I think it's very at the bottom of its bag. And if it's true that MegaETH is a much more capable, then I think it's a good bet. Now, you allocate your funds and things to your own life. You know, what is $100 is everything to somebody is literally the equivalent of like a penny to somebody else. Okay, so everybody's operating it, and there's no shame no matter where you are. You need to know that first and foremost. But I'm not here to say how much money or this, that, not financial advice. But I mean, look at this thing. Oh, we're still on market cap. Let's go to price. This is MegaETH. And if it's really as capable as they say it is, are they dumping this thing so that they can load up? I'm just wondering, because If this thing is as capable as it says that it is, there's a good chance that over time, the value it creates is going to increase its value via price. That is the idea. Still here, brother. A little busy. Cryptic Quentin. No worries. No worries at all. I appreciate you letting me know that you're here. I'm going to pay off all my bills first, says Melissa. I'm also here to meet all you awesome people from around the world too. Yeah, it's an amazing thing to have everybody together. And so a big part of the community is to have people who like different things, who are different people, who are from just the diversity of people, from everything from what you like in crypto to where you live and what kind of life you're used to because of where you live and environment. And we bring that all together and we're able to enrich each other from all different types of information and stuff because we're all from somewhere else. That's the power of community at a basic standard, and that's what I really wanted here for Underground Crypto. All right. Jimmy Villain says, I love your analogy. Hey, I'm glad that you find it useful. Absolutely. That I was buying hype coins. Now I go with utilities and values. Quality, not quantity. 1 million UG. Million, bro, indeed. Attitude, bro. Yep, attitude is altitude. Always remember that. And gratitude is the attitude. You are what you think. Absolutely. Greenfinger says Camsta likes to just randomly plug out. I think maybe when we start raising that crypto IQ, he might have been one of the people who really needed to hear my whole spiel there. Also, he's probably busy with life. Don't get me wrong. How's life on the other side of the pond, says Blues Guy. What you're speaking about is the sole reason I came out of the 1% biker world and now talk to God every day. Jimmy Villain, that's what I like to hear. I love to hear that kind of story because it sounds like something God grabbed you and shook you and said, hey, there's a lot more here than your understanding. There's a lot more in life for you than what you think. And here you are getting after that. And that's such an awesome, to me, that's like the inspiring stories that we hear. And people are out there living it every day, and you could be too if you'll rise to the occasion. All right, cold and wet after the little sunny spell we had. MegaETH been mega dumping. It absolutely has been mega dumping. But at some point, it's only going to, and don't get me wrong, it has like $66 million in the market cap. It can go lower, but at some point, it's only going to go so low. There's going to be only so many people who can sell it. So if we go into like some really bearish times and this thing drops another 30, million in market cap, it's going to be one heck of a scoop come and you won't have to buy as much, right? If this drops 30 million in market cap and we go into a really bearish time, you'd need basically 50% less money to get the same amount of tokens. So keep that in mind. And there's a lot of levels to that. Yep, I hope it continues to dump that MegaETH and I will keep buying. Exactly. And things don't have to go back to their all-time highs for you to make a bunch of money when they dump crazy levels. And then you have to do your research, right? Find information, find out if they're still here's some things to watch if you're buying a coin. Look at their Twitter. Are they still posting? Look at their roadmap. Do they still have anything left on the roadmap? Are they doing any of them? 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year's gone by. Have they done anything on their roadmap? Stuff like that is how you can tell if a project is dead, or if they're building silently and the market is not speculating on their value yet. Because, again, I'm just going to leave it at this. If MegaETH is 10x faster, both of them are trying to solve a problem. One of them solves that problem 10 times better than the other one. Quality is a factor. But if it can do it, it can do it. And if it's doing it 10 times better than Monad, over time, that value is going to be recognized. That is my thesis. That is my idea. I'm not telling you that is absolutely going to happen. Here's another thing. the people behind this could be full of crap, and it could never do anything because they're going to abandon the project and walk away. It could happen. That is the risk. That's why they say don't risk more money than you're okay with losing, because sometimes you're going to lose, especially if you want to win, you're going to lose sometimes. Let's see. Blues Guy says, with God, what's possible will always be infinitely greater than what we believe to be probable. I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Gratitude is recognizing divine blessing, maintaining a thankful heart regardless of circumstance, and finding joy in daily life. That is gratitude. Jimmy Villain says, do you hold me? That's pretty funny. I don't know if he literally means a coin called ME, but I don't think so. I think he means me. Someone mentioned God, so I had to get going. LOL. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, so here's MegaETH. And we could duplicate out here and then put Monad kind of side by side so that as we're going through this stuff, we can kind of refer to it, right? Because there's some things to look at here real quick, and I think it's important. I don't think we're doing Monad and MegaETH all week either. So, like, sometimes you got to soak this information up. Also, we're putting this all here. And if you were a serious investor, you're somebody with a decent amount of money and you really wanted exposure to this lives on the internet. Right? You can come back to it and you can skip around, and AI puts sections on it so you can quickly jump through too. So let's look at a few things here. The first thing I want to look at is how much money. Monad, 260 million. MegaETH, 65.9, let's call it 66 million. Monad has a infinite max supply. MegaETH has 10 billion max supply. 10 billion is a lot, but I tell you, it's a lot less than infinite. Infinite is a lot more. It's infinitely more, matter of fact. Then we want to look at circulating supply. This is MegaETH. I don't want to get you confused because we're going back and forth. 1.1 billion. So if you think of every 1 billion as 10%, this is just slightly over 10% of the coins out. That can be problematic, but with Monad, it's infinite, and we don't even have any idea, no idea, of how many coins are going to come out, how often. We could maybe dig into it, right? So this has 11.8 billion. So this is the world of tokenomics. Tokenomics to me is very important. That's why I spend a moment with it. Do I have a 2-line breakdown of exactly what MegaETH is? Yes, we've been going over that. I don't know where you were, but if you want a 2-line breakdown, MegaETH is a layer 2 scaling solution on Ethereum with what they say 100,000 throughput per second, which is 10 times faster than Monad, and a 10 millisecond finality, which is also more specific than Monad is. So it's faster. Monad is doing layer 1 to solve the same problem that MegaETH is doing layer 2 to solve. There you go. Blues Guy says, ouch, that can't be good. Infinite. Oh, he says, LO, I meant, do you hold MegaETH? That's pretty funny. Is MegaETH ticker is not me? No, right? It's Mega, right? Okay. Because that'd be pretty funny if it was me. Anyway, that's pretty funny. No, I don't, but I am seriously considering it. This looks like a giant cup and handle, though, doesn't it? It actually looks like it's going to be more of a double bottom for Monad. It's on the max chart. It looks like a big double bottom, maybe. Anyways, not trying to get lost in the weeds there. Also, Monad has been out. We're comparing MegaETH and Monad as we take a break from raising your crypto IQ a little bit. One's been out a lot longer than the other one, right? So, November 23rd, 2025, token generation event for Monad, as far as we know. And April 30th, 2026 for MegaETH. Now, we have been talking about MegaETH, following MegaETH, for a lot longer than they've had a token out. I've been talking about them probably months, at least a month, if not two, before the token ever came out, right? So there you go. Green Finger says, thanks, Eugene. Absolutely. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for always coming to the live show. So, and it's almost 6 cents here. Now, when we talk about tokenomics, I don't want to be super redundant here, but again, you take the circulating supply and you divide that by the market cap, right? You divide the market cap into the circulating supply, and that is going to give you the overall price. So this is why the circulating supply is super important, because we're not dividing the market cap into the max supply. Because 10 billion tokens is how many tokens exist in the entire project over the entire life of the project, not how many of them are actually out in circulation. Only literally 10%, a little over 10% are actually in circulating supply. Now let's move to Monad and let's compare that. So Monad has infinite. Well, that already kind of messes us up, because with an infinite max supply, how do we put a comparison of how many circulating supply tokens are out against infinite? Right, it doesn't compute. You can't really do an equation there, right? But either way, you have 11.8 billion. That is going to dilute your number. See, look, it already has more in the circulating supply than MegaETH will ever have in the entirety of the project. Tokenomics already here. So here's what I want to say. MegaETH, as far as what we've learned so far about the tech, makes me more bullish on MegaETH. Now you have to get into the intricacies of, is it actually able to deliver? Can it really do? Are the people behind it legitimate? That kind of stuff. That's a different question. We're taking what we're told by face value until otherwise proven different. So I like it on the tech side of things. It seems 10 times faster than Monad. The tokenomics, that's another big check mark for me. Maybe I'll make a checklist of these things for us to go over. But MegaETH, I like the tokenomics way better. I mean, way better than I like Monad's. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like Monad as a project. Monad's done good brand recognition. They've done good marketing, right? Which is the same thing, but you can do good marketing and have terrible brand recognition. Don't get me wrong. But anyways, I'm not saying I don't like Monad, but so far in everything that we've gone over, I like MegaETH a lot more, which is funny because it's been dumping, and Monad has been dumping too. Like, the difference is Monad pumped and then dumped. Where, like, if you look at it, Monad was 4 cents, and then it dumped directly from, let's see, from November 26, 25 at almost 5 cents to December 18th at less than 2 cents, right? Call it 1.5 cents. Huge drop. And then it recovered quite a bit recently, going back to about 3.5 cents. And now you're down at almost 2 cents flat. Hopefully you followed those numbers there. It's dumped a lot too. It absolutely has dumped a lot too. Here's the saving grace, and think about it. You look over here. I know I'm saying a lot of things, guys. Try to follow with me. If you look here and you'll see it's only down 26% since it came out, right? That's not so bad. But that's because here's where it came out, down here at 3 cents. 0.029, basically 3 cents. And then it pumped up really high and fell. But how much it actually fell from this all-time high is a lot more. That's 55. It's down 55% from its all-time high. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, we're gonna move on and get back to what we were doing here, because we still have a lot of stuff to go over. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Jimmy Villain says MegaETH could be a mega buy. These are the prices where people can make the life-changing money if the coin holds up. Exactly. I feel like from everything I've learned and my thoughts that immediately come to me out based off of what you just said is like, don't get overly bullish to where you put a crazy amount. This is for me. This is what I would do. I wouldn't put too much money into it but I would put enough. Here's my idea. I really want to break this down because this is, I think, really important. You want to put enough money into it, me personally, that if it moves and does what you want it to do, it makes a difference. If you put $100 in it and it 10x's or 15 or 20x's, like, you still only turned like $100 into $2,000. That's great percentage gains. Makes you look real smart. But imagine if you put $1,000. Now, depending on where you live, $1,000 can be a different amount of money. To me, it's a nice chunk of money. It's $1,000, but it's not life-changing money. Now, if I turn that $1,000 20x into $20,000, not life-changing money. Don't get me wrong, but it does pay some things off. Like you could pay a chunk of a car off. If you have a home, you could put that in the bank and make sure you've got security on your mortgage payment every month. Like, it can change your life, even if it's not gonna put you in a mansion, right? But here, my point is, if you put $100 in every project and you catch one that, like, 20x's, that's fun, but it's only $100 and it didn't change your world. So you got to understand how much money for you and the life that you live is enough to make a difference without putting $10,000 in it and then it never doing anything and that $10,000 turning into $3,000 and you lost $7,000. Okay. Now, if you put $10,000 in there and it 20x's, that's a different story. But were you overexposed in order to do it? Next 4 months could offer better prices, in my opinion. Yes. And Green Fingers has a great point. That is exactly why scaling in is good. Like, say, this is why, like, really thinking out and writing down on paper what you want to do is highly important. So say I wanted to get into MegaETH and I wanted to get $1,000 into MegaETH. Let's just use that as an example, because if that 20x's, that's $20,000, right? Well, I could buy $100 now, just so if we turn around and the bear market doesn't really happen, and for some reason we take off, I have something. And then I could really plan on locking in as we go down, because you're only going to go down so far, right? It's going to keep dumping. And at some point, you're going to be at a bottom. Theoretically, the market will hit a bottom and turn around and go up. Even if your coin doesn't pump, the market will hit a bottom and then the market will go back up. And you're hoping and you're betting that your coin is also going to appreciate in value. So if you kind of just keep getting little chunks of it at cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper prices, at some point when it turns around and it goes back up, you're increasing in value. The guy who can't buy and he has to wait and wait and wait and he's always looking for the next lower price, he never buys anything. Statistically, that guy never buys anything, and the market turns around and now it's too expensive because it's already done 100% gain and he's getting that much less per his money, and that hurts, and so he never buys. And then it goes up more and he never buys, and then it finally goes up so high, top of the bear market or top of the bull market type stuff, that he finally gets so mad he buys some, and then it dumps on him for the next year and a half. So many times that happens, all because he couldn't just believe in what he believes in. Doesn't matter what coin it is, believe in it, and then just buy little chunks at a time. Anyways, let's keep moving, otherwise I'll never get through this stuff. Speed expands the type of apps that can exist on chain, right? So the type of apps that we can have is very much determined on how fast things can move. He says, I agree, Green Figures. It is on Coinbase. That's awesome. Yes. Another one that we're looking at, just to throw it out there, is OpenServe. Reliable J, his picks have been super reliable. He picked OpenServe. I really wanted a good coin with low value that has X402 narrative as a category and exposure. I think that's one. I think I'll put 2 or 3 of them in my portfolio. That is definitely, I think, going to be one of them. So speed expands the type of apps that can exist on chain. This is one of the most important teaching points of of the stream, apparently. I don't know why they put that in there. I wish they wouldn't do that. Speed is not just about making existing apps faster, but what they're really trying to say here, the important takeaway is this is a highly important thing that the audience hopefully is going to understand. Speed is not just about making existing apps faster, it's about enabling new capabilities of apps, which I think is a really good point, because we're not just saying, hey, faster, 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 faster. It's about actually making what is possible to be designed and on-chain much more capable, right? Which means we can do a lot of things we used to not be able to do. So if every transaction costs too much or takes too long, developers avoid building apps that require constant interaction. And that is why many crypto apps today are still building around occasional high-value actions: swaps, borrows, lends, bridge, and mint. This is why a lot of games in DeFi gaming are incredibly simple. Shout out to Sunflower Land. But they're simple because we just don't have the speed to keep up with the high graphics and stuff like that, and the constant changing of a game would be very difficult at a high level. But mainstream apps often involve frequent low-value actions like messages, small payments, game moves, social interaction, real-time updates, like stuff like that. They are low-value actions, but they're very frequent. Those interactions require low latency and low cost, right? And when chain chase speed, the real question is, what new behavior becomes possible? That is much more interesting than just throughput alone. Now, think about this. Think about Facebook. If Facebook was on blockchain, and even if it was very cheap, every time you hit a like button was a transaction, and that was actually money that had to be transacted, even if it was a penny or something. People would be very stingy with those likes. Those likes would mean a lot more, and they probably wouldn't happen very often. So the risk, faster does not automatically mean better, right? This is where we come back down to earth. This is where we keep the show balanced and avoid the hype. Crypto history is full of fast chains that did not automatically win. Speed matters, but it is not enough. And the chain also needs developers, users, liquidity, security, reliability, ecosystem trust, good apps, strong onboarding, and a faster empty chain is still empty. And this is actually a good point when it comes to MegaETH and Monad, because MegaETH is a layer 2 on Ethereum. It gets to inherit all of the value and security from the layer 1. That is the power of a layer 2. Monad can adopt some of it. There's things like restaking and stuff where they can adopt some of the security from Ethereum, but as their own layer 1, they really have to build a lot of that stuff for themselves. So are they a fast, empty chain? I don't know. A fast chain with no liquidity will struggle. A fast chain with poor developer adoption will not matter. So the question for Monad and MegaETH is not only can they be fast, the question is, can that speed turn into real ecosystem activity? The bigger question here is crypto ready for real-time apps? And I don't know that we're fully there yet, right? We're moving so much closer than we were before, but there you go. Yeah, OpenServe is on Coinbase too. Yeah, it absolutely is. That's why I wanted to throw that out, because if Jimmy Villain is on Coinbase, then he might want to go ahead and heart and look at that one as well. This is a deeper frame, right? For a long time, crypto applications have been limited by infrastructure, but if infrastructure gets faster, then the pressure shifts to the developer, right? They don't have that excuse anymore. The developers can't be like, well, it's hard. Well, now you have the capabilities, developers, so now you can build those things. If Monad and MegaETH succeed technically, then the next question becomes, what will people actually build there? Will we see better DeFi, better games, social apps, payment systems, all the different use cases? Or will faster chains simply become faster places to speculate? Will people just speculate and pump and dump faster? Or will they actually use things like a lot of people use Facebook every day? You know, will there be stuff that people just use every day all the time? TikTok, like whatever it is, but blockchain values. And I honestly think that a lot of those ones that people do use every day will completely integrate with blockchain, like X, is constantly talking about doing, and we haven't really seen it do that yet. So that is the real test, because the future of crypto is not just faster blockchain, it's better applications. The core takeaway: speed only matters if it changes what people can actually do on chain. If you can only do the same things you can already do, but faster, it only matters so much. Just like if the cashier can move a little faster and check more people out, but you never get a second cashier line at your grocery store, then at some point that cashier can only go so fast. And that is the line to return to throughout this whole episode. Thank you for that. AI is hilarious. I tell it constantly not to put this stuff in here, and it does anyways. So MegaETH and MegaETH are important not because they are new names. They're important because they represent a bet that crypto's next phase requires faster, smoother, and more responsive execution. What we're hoping for is that MegaETH and MegaETH have done their research in the space, right? And they understand what blockchain needs in the future, but also in the short-term future, not just the long-term future. And they're building that, which will increase the capability in the blockchain technology, environment, evolution, whatever you want to call it. So here's where we have a little bit of a breakdown. So the question is, what is it? We know that MegaETH is a layer 1 and MegaETH is a Ethereum layer 2. Now you might be thinking, oh man, this is going to be redundant. We're going to hear information that we already heard. And to that I want to tell you that repetition is the father of learning. You ever learn a lot of stuff, and then when you have a conversation with somebody, you're able to explain nothing? Simply, easy, get them to understand. Maybe in your mind it makes sense to you, but you're not very good. It's because you don't have it's not because you don't understand the information necessarily, it's because you don't have the repetition that is required to make the information go from knowledge to wisdom. Core focus here, parallel, right? MegaETH has parallel EVM execution. MegaETH has real-time Ethereum execution. What does this mean? Well, parallel means multiple chains, but those multiple chains are not on Ethereum. They're inside of MegaETH's. EVM compatible means they work together. But layer 1, it's its own layer 1 with multiple, or at least 2. In order to be parallel, I think you need at least 2 different chains, right, for faster execution. Both are good ideas, right? Real-time execution layer 2 for MegaETH. The main goal, make apps faster on a new layer 1, make Ethereum apps feel faster or real-time on Ethereum. Developer appeal, right, on a layer 1 is Solidity, EVM compatibility. Solidity, I believe, being the language of Ethereum virtual machine. Ethereum alignment and faster UX you're going to get from MegaETH, which to me, if you compare these two, MegaETH wins again, right? Biggest question. Can a new EVM layer 1 win users? Can an L2 make Ethereum feel instant? I'm not gonna lie, my bet is here. And see, here's the really funny question, and this is why this whole stream is valuable to me, and I'll be doing this regardless of who's here, because I did not have this opinion about MegaETH prior to doing this show with you guys. Did I research it some and put together what I wanted to go over, how I wanted to compare them, what information I thought was most important, and the angle, and what, of course, yeah. But I hadn't done as much time and effort as I'm doing right now, because life is very busy, and this show is very much about me, as well as sharing it with you guys, but me also doing my due diligence and research. And let's see, what matters more to you for the next wave of crypto apps? Decentralization, speed, or user experience? I don't usually ever do this Ask the Chat segment. It randomly put this in here, which I think is hilarious. It's actually a pretty good segment, but I usually skip right over it, right? All right, cool. So where is our... we'll skip over. I was wondering what our quote of the day was. Where is our quote of the day? I hope it's Jim Rohn. Because, man, I have been absolutely just loving some Jim Rohn right now. Gives like an opening hook, no Thank you. All right, you may not know this, but many blockchain transactions are still processed in ways that create bottlenecks when too many users try to interact at once. So it's like, you might think that they've really solved this, but a lot of places like Ethereum still have a ton of bottlenecks, right? And we're not going to go over it because we've just gone through all this information. I probably should have read that first. That is how it goes sometimes. And how's everybody feeling out there? Tell me in the chat, if you had $1,000 right now, would you buy MegaETH or would you buy MegaETH? And let's say for the sake of argument, you could only buy one. I'm going to start a poll. All right, we're going to do that. Start a poll. $1,000, you can only buy one. What do you buy? Question mark. Let's see what people say. Let's see how many people even participate. All right, that poll is up. That poll is live. Do I participate in that poll? I guess I will. I know what I would buy. And I think the one I would buy is undervalued. So I like when things line up like that, right? I really do. All right. Well, we've gone over a lot of stuff here. We are over 2 hours of being live here, and to me that says, hey, we should really kick off the members only live stream. I hate to lose whoever I lose. Yep, 00 Zoe says MegaETH. Hey, hit that poll for me, would you? So I can have that data kind of cemented forever. I think from here for a moment, let's go take a look at TradingView. Again, this show could be so long. I don't know that everybody has the attention for how long this show could be, or time. I mean, I'm not trying to put nobody down. It's not just attention. Sometimes we don't have 4 hours a day to dedicate, right? That's just life. All right, I'm on the 1 minute. I probably should go somewhere else, but like different time frame. Our low today was 70,000 and some change. So there's that. You already bounced. I mean, you do kind of have this shoulder, head. You're getting that other shoulder, right? That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is you're getting this flag with this measured move there, and I'm just moving quickly here. We'll make proper lines in a minute. Or I guess you could say you got the cup with the handle. Either way you subscribe to it, all three of those are reversal or bullish patterns. Does that mean the price will not go lower? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. Something like that. And let's go ahead and actually get a nice measured move on it, right? And that measured move can go from the neckline as inverted head and shoulder, or it can go from the flag as a bullish flag. We'll see what it does. Tells you, and like, look where it targets, right? It targets right at the top here. Let's use a regular horizontal line, the top over here, and a support and resistance bottom over here. So you have like this range right here that you were recently in for a little while. And that is up from 71,000 to basically 71,350. And that's kind of what you would be targeting. You see, and we are on a 1 minute chart. Let's go to a 5 minute chart because it'll make a lot more sense. And then of course you have the next value area up here. And if you come and we let the VRVP go ahead and populate, you'll see you're about here. There is a gap. Well, that's not what I want. You got a gap here. You can move through quickly. And then you got, some smaller gaps that could be moved through pretty quickly if you're going up. But your POC is up here, which is basically the 200-day moving average on the 5 minute. And that's basically what I see for BTC. Again, I've pretty much kind of decided. I don't know that I will not do any leverage trading, but like I had a lot more fun. I had a lot more time. I enjoyed dealing with projects and stuff a lot more when I was just buying spot bags. I really was, and I won a lot more when I was just buying spot bags. It's very true. Let's see. If you only had 1,000, what percentage would you put into each as far as MegaETH and Monad? So the poll question was if you had $1,000 and you could only buy one of them. So as far as the poll question goes, I'd buy MegaETH. Now, you could go 50-50. That is kind of, see, where you get into what percentages, if I only had $1,000 and I had to buy both of them, I'd buy like 80% MegaETH and 20% Monad. It also depends on your overall portfolio, right? Is your overall portfolio $10,000 and that $1,000 is a part of your whole portfolio, meaning you have $10,000, not 11? That would make your $1,000 10% of your portfolio. So at that point, maybe you would want to break it up. If your whole portfolio is only $3,000, then I don't even know if it makes sense to put $1,000 into those projects. You might want to break it up even more. It just really depends on what your appetite is. Double O Zo says, MegaETH, I just bought a little bit. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you found this information useful. Bag of MegaETH. And I really hope that this deep dive serves us all well in the future. And we'll look back and we'll talk about it, I hope, like we did lab today. That's crazy. I was typing that exact question to LOL. Oh, you typed that before I even put it in there. Well, that's awesome, man. And I really appreciate your viewership and your interaction here on the channel, man. That's awesome. I love to see that because it just means that what I'm doing is useful to somebody other than myself. Like I've said a bunch of times, I could have just sat and done all this research by myself, but I wouldn't have been as consistent. I created, this was a concept, and we're at the end of the stream. We're about to go to the user-only stream in a minute. And what you want to do a lot of times when you have goals is you want to create a path of least resistance, right? So if I want to get up and I want to go to the gym every day, this is an example, this is metaphoric, but it's literal as well. And I know that I want to get up and I need to get up and I need to go early, right? Whatever early is for you. Because that's how it works in my day. And if I don't do it and go up early, it's not going to happen because I have work and I have everything else, right? So I know if I don't get up early, I don't go. So I could be like, okay, I'm going to get up. And then maybe I do for a few days, a week. But at some point, the path of least resistance is I could just stay in bed. And if you listen to your emotions, they're always going to choose comfort. So if you're the type of person who doesn't have good discipline is just overriding your emotions. Your emotions are going to want you to stay in comfort. My point here is maybe you find somebody at the gym to work out with who's there at the same time. Maybe you hit up one of your buddies and now you build something to where somebody's waiting for you. Somebody's away. Now you have the path of least resistance. Once you say you have like a really good friend, right, who you've known for 5, 6, 10 years, and he's going to meet you at the gym now. And so now the gym is not just you going consistently and working out for your health and the betterment of your body, longevity, but it's also to hang out with a really good friend. Now the path of least resistance is to go to the gym. Now, when you skip and you don't, you stay in bed, your buddy's like, dude, where were you? I was waiting for you. Now the path of least resistance is actually lining up with what you want to do. And that's very much what the stream was about. Why do they make cryptos with unlimited supplies? Doesn't it make it worthless? That's a great question. Can't read this. I've seen you've been here and interacted with the show. I love that. I would definitely say that your question is a good one. It depends on the project. There are some projects where it does make sense to have an infinite supply. The difference is with a infinite supply, we have to trust that the project is smart enough not to mint too many coins too fast in certain environments, right? And so in a bullish environment, you could mint more coins, and because you have people buying in, the price could stay relatively the same or go up. In a bearish environment, if you keep printing coins as people are leaving risk on assets, you're just crushing the price. And here's the good thing. With a max supply of whatever it is, could be 10 billion, 1 billion, 1 million, it could be 100 coins, it doesn't matter. At some point, they have to stop putting coins out because they hit the limit. The thing that bothers me over long-term hold, say you were going to hold something for 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, whatever long-term is for you, who's to stop them from just putting out coins? You know what I'm saying? Over years and just constantly diluting, which there's no stopping point, and there's no point where you're going to have to stop and then it can balance out with people buying in, and so therefore the price will eventually go up. There's no guarantee with a max supply, without a max supply, I should say. I hope that works out. Does it make it worthless? No, because a project could do a really good job and never put out. Like Monad could never put out more than another million coins. I don't know. I don't know their vesting schedule. Some of them have a vesting schedule. That's another thing. Some of them you can go look up what their schedule is, even though they have an infinite max supply, and that gives us some kind of reference, right? Other projects don't have a really clear vesting schedule at all, and that makes it even sketchier. I would rather have a clear cutoff. Think about Bitcoin, only 21 million coins, right? I'd rather have a clear cutoff than absolutely no clear cutoff, especially if I'm holding something long term. I hope that answers your question. Thanks for being here. Blues Guy said, I bought more Flare. I leave the other coins for you guys. I think that's awesome. I mean, I know you own a couple of things, so I certainly hope you have some diversity. I wouldn't only own Flare in my portfolio personally, but hey, you do whatever you want. And I'm pretty sure that you own other things as well. It says, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't want to do it, you'll find excuses. Exactly. And something that I really would love to get into more in the channel is kind of the Jim Rohn personal development and stuff. And it's because I recognize that if you're here in cryptocurrency, you have some belief that your life can change for the better. I think it starts for most people with money. But when you realize that the money, even if you get it, isn't going to change who you are, then the other things become more important. So if I can encourage you to value those things more now, you're ahead of the game. You know, one of the big things in my walk-in session, Jim Rohn session this morning, right? My Jim Rohn IQ raising event, it's hilarious, is that time is really important, and a lot of times we put stuff off. A lot of times we say, you know, when I have more money, I'll worry about markets. When I have more money, I'll invest money. But it's actually the complete opposite. When you have very little money, it matters a lot more that you invest. And then you have time. You have the power of time, right? When you don't invest because you didn't have a lot of money for 10 years, that is 10 years that you didn't have any possibility of increasing your net worth through investing. It's literally impossible when you never invested any money. Just like if I never pick up a basketball and shoot it at the hoop, I have a 0% chance of ever making a basketball in a hoop. Every shot you don't take, you miss automatically. Or it's as good as if you never took a shot, right? Because you're not. You might as well miss all of them because you're not going to take any of the shots. There's multiple ways to say the exact same thing. All right, let's look at Lab real quick. Bang, bang, bang. Lab needs to be looked at on higher time frames. That's how hard this thing is pumped. And it's still going. Just recently went to $18.27 again. I think this thing at least goes to 20 bucks. You are super far away from your 21-day moving average. I think it's funny people are still watching my reel that I made 7 months ago. It gets views every day, which tells me that there's a lot of attention. And it looked like you were going to potentially get some good, healthy behavior, right? And maybe flag out here and let that 21 come up. But you're not. You're pumping. So at some point, that 21's got to get back to somewhere near price action. Now, the 1 hour is not bad. So basically, it let the 1 hour 21 come back up. And the 4 hours still really far away, which means any higher time frame is going to be worse. The daily, worse. The higher they go up, the harder they come down. Maybe you get a buy-in opportunity. Maybe you start already speculating when it comes to your Fibonacci retracements, stuff like that. So the previous one here, full range, wick to wick, that range gave you you got as low as a 0.65. Really, most of the time, you really only got down to a 0.5. But you did get a 618. You did get a golden pocket buy. There was here for all the institutional traders. You got a golden pocket buy. Before this thing ripped, you got to buy at about $3 before this thing ripped. If you weren't already in it, institutional, mind state here, golden pocket, Fibonacci retracement, if you know what I'm talking about. So as we set up kind of the next idea, and you got to keep adjusting, right? Because we don't actually know where the top of this is going to be before it retraces. And I'd personally look at it more at like the 4 hour, right? A golden pocket would be a purchase at about $9. So it'd have to come down. If it goes to 20, you're talking about a 50% pullback. And of course, you would move your Fibonacci retracement, and that would change levels. But you understand the concept. On a big pump, you can chase the pump, or you can lock in, get ready for retracements, set buys and sells. I think this is how I want to maybe move forward with trading a lot more than leverage, because I just don't have the time to constantly be looking and checking with leverage trades. It just eats up too much of my time. I have too much stuff to do. And again, MegaETH making another what looks like a bearish continuation pattern, which should surprise nobody with the current environment of Bitcoin right now. Maybe something like this. And just like Greenfinger said, I wouldn't ape into this. Buying a tiny bit of it, I don't see how that would be a bad idea in the bull market, right? Thinking in reference to the bull market that will someday come. That I'm confident in. When it's going to come, I don't know, but I am confident there will be a bull market, right? And the rising tide will lift all vessels, right? So anyways, it looks like maybe this is going to happen. Maybe you get down to 0.5 from where you are now at almost 0.6. And that could be a good place to buy, right? So scaling in over time could be really good. The time is more valuable than the money. Exactly. Now we are going to put our countdown in. I know I've threatened to do it a few times. 88% of people did say that they would buy MegaETH. And I assume that's very much based off of our breakdown here. I hope it served you well. I hope you had a good time. It's over 2.5 hours, right? 2 hours and 37 minutes we've been live going over all of this stuff. So I hope you guys value the time. Smash the like button. Maybe consider, not right now, not this stream, over time, consider throwing a super chat my way and tell me that you find this stuff valuable. Otherwise, we're going to the members only live stream here, and I'm going to put the countdown in. Members only live stream. How long the members only live stream will be pretty much based off of what all is going on, how many people have questions and stuff like that. And I keep clicking it and nothing is happening. I don't understand that. Let's see if we can refresh it, make it work better. can I open a members only live stream? There we go. And it's got 5 minutes on it because we're already super long into the show. So the show will continue. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or I'll see you in the members only if you come over to that. And I know a lot of people have memberships and they don't come over to the members only live stream, which is totally understandable. I know we've already been live 2.5 hours. Most of you have been here for probably at least 2 hours. All right, do we dare go take a look at what is going on over on X? Okay, talking about selling his old boat here. Let's go to some hashtags. Of course, I hate that they're a little bit cluttered with nonsense. We're going to our doom scroll here. We'll go to latest. So Mischief Finance has successfully launched V3, delivering on their roadmap commitments. A new era for the platform begins. I don't know anything about Mischief Finance. What happens if I click play here? All right. If I don't go change settings in my mixers, you guys will never be able to hear anything that I play. All right, done. It's only 16 seconds, right? Hopefully you can hear it. I'm just reading subtitles. So, final takeaway, it says, the future of DeFi isn't making opportunity creation easier, it's making opportunity access effortless. Explore concrete. Yeah, this is like anybody who tells you things are easy. I don't know about effortless. Effortless seems like, that seems scammy in my opinion here. A lot of people posting the same thing, looks like maybe some kind of ad campaign or just straight up scammers. Radiant Capital folds. Radiant Capital shut down after failing, I should say, to recover $50 million in a hack. Ouch. I like this is called Signal or Noise. Another DeFi casualty highlight ongoing security risks. Verdict, Signal. Institution failure due to security breach. Kind of like their post there. I like that. And I gotta like it if it's a real post, or if I feel like it's a real post, because, man, they shadow ban hard. Early testing unit flow. Finance. Always good to explore new DeFi projects before the launch. And we're gonna have a lot of fun at the members only stream. Definitely have a couple of bucks for some, see if we can hit a bag. Hey, how about this? If we hit on any of the slots tonight and we get up $50, we're gonna buy a $50 bag of MegaETH. It could happen. It's happened before, and it's a free value where I'm not buying money to do it. The money is free, and if we hit, we will probably pull our money out of like something like stake.com in XRP, and we'll swap that XRP for something like MegaETH or OpenServe. That's how I bought a $50 bag of Clanker, or Token Bot. Most people know it as Clanker, and I got that for free from stake.com. I can't be mad. What does that $50 of Clanker look like 2 years from now? A year from now? Whenever the bull run top is, right? Probably more than the $50 that I won there. Like, don't put anything that's going to get me in trouble. X. Bitcoin volatility spikes as 73,000 holds. 15 minutes ago? What are you talking about? We are under 73,000. Info, let's see, what is the exact price right now? Oh, did we shift over? 12 seconds. All right, it's not worth doing. We only have 12 seconds. I'll see you on the other side. welcome to the members only live stream. Or I'll see you tomorrow. Underground Crypto. Out.